By now you might have seen the video clip going around of Jennifer Lopez seemingly spitting her chewing gum into her assistant's hand on a film set right before shooting a take, and the assistant who was in that video has basically come out and said, look, this video clip comes up on social every few years.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Jennifer just looked at me, just gave me a blank stare, and then looked away to her bodyguards as if, you were told to get this trash and clear the room. Why isn't this room cleared?
What if I told you Jennifer Lopez is hiding some dark secrets behind her sparkling image? From shocking allegations about how she allowed her boyfriend to mistreat her staff to her name being linked to Diddy's wildest scandals. The stories coming out about J-Lo are downright jaw-dropping. And now, her former assistant is revealing what it was really like working for her. Buckle up, because this one's about to get messy. J-Lo has made quite a few enemies over the years, and many of them are people who worked for her behind the scenes. One of the most notable is Jilly Liar, who served as J-Lo's assistant before quitting to work for Mariah Carey in 2013. Now, quitting is one thing, but the reason Jilly left is where things get messy. Apparently, J-Lo's boyfriend at the time, Casper Smart, was given free rein in the house, and that included how he treated the staff. A source revealed that Casper insisted the staff call him Mr. Smart and even made Jilly fetch him drinks. It's clear J-Lo let this behavior slide, and honestly, it paints her in a pretty bad light. Allowing someone to disrespect your employees, that's not just unprofessional, it's cruel. But Casper wasn't the only one causing issues. J-Lo's own actions also drove away some of her most loyal team members. Take her longtime makeup artist, Scott Barnes, for example. After a leak from J-Lo's team revealed her plans to marry Mark Anthony, she immediately pointed fingers at Scott without even asking him if he was involved. She fired him and told everyone on her team to cut ties with him.
All of a sudden we were told, the next guest is on her way. It's Jennifer Lopez. You guys need to clear the room. Everybody needs... And suddenly there was an instant panic. And again, I've been to doing a lot of talk shows in the green room with a lot of actors, and I'd never had that experience.
Scott later revealed in an interview that he was completely blindsided by the accusations. He didn't know anything about the wedding plans, but no one gave him a chance to defend himself. For months, he was shunned by J-Lo's team, treated like he had the plague. When the truth finally came out and it was proven he wasn't the leak, J-Lo called him up, not to apologize, but to ask him to come back to work. And here's the wild part. Scott actually went back. He's since spoken graciously about the incident. But let's be real, J-Lo's behavior in this situation was a major red flag. How does someone get away with treating their team like that? And why did no one call her out? But that's not all. In 2024, during an appearance on the Joe Rogan Experience, Elon Musk brought up J-Lo while discussing her criticism of a recently elected president. Elon didn't hold back, calling out her hypocrisy. He mentioned her past relationship with Diddy, who she dated from 1999 to 2001, and questioned why J-Lo was warning people about one person when she never warned anyone about Diddy. Elon hinted that the music industry had to know about Diddy's alleged behavior, and wondered why J-Lo didn't hold him accountable. To make things worse, J-Lo's ex-husband, Ojani Noah, also chimed in. He claimed on Instagram that J-Lo participated in Diddy's infamous freak-off parties, events that have been linked to some of the most shocking allegations against the music mogul.
He was Jennifer Lopez's first husband, and after they got divorced, Jennifer Lopez started dating P. Diddy.
Ojani flat out denied being involved in these parties himself, but claimed J-Lo was. This isn't just a messy rumor. It's a bombshell accusation that raises even more questions about J-Lo's past and the choices she's made.
I'm not on the list. To those people and media outlets asking if I ever went or participated in that piece of ish Diddy's freak-offs party, no and no, never. But my ex-wife, Jennifer Lopez, aka J-Lo, did. Ask her.
In a surprising twist, one of Jennifer Lopez's past assistants has come forward to defend her amidst all the drama. Thea D'Souza, who worked with J-Lo on the 2002 film Made in Manhattan, took to social media to clear the air about J-Lo's rumored involvement in Diddy's alleged crimes. According to Thea, the accusations linking J-Lo to Diddy's scandals are completely unfounded. Thea emphasized that J-Lo is nothing like the image being painted in the media. She described her as a workaholic who barely drinks, isn't into partying, and uplifts women rather than tearing them down. Thea made it clear that during the time J-Lo dated Diddy, she had no knowledge of any criminal behavior. She added that J-Lo's relationship with Diddy was brief, and that his infidelity, not any wrongdoing on her part, was the main reason they broke up. Thea's statement also highlighted how unfair it is to conflate J-Lo with Diddy's alleged misdeeds. She argued that the public is dragging J-Lo into a situation she had no part in, based solely on her past relationship with him. But here's the kicker. Thea is the only person from J-Lo's past or present to publicly speak out in her defense. That silence from others? It's got fans wondering whether there's more to the story. While Thea insists J-Lo didn't know about Diddy's alleged actions, J-Lo herself has admitted in past interviews that her relationship with him was far from perfect. She's openly talked about how his infidelity was a major factor in their split, describing the emotional toll it took on her. J-Lo revealed that she often suspected Diddy of cheating and even found herself knocking on hotel doors looking for him. It's clear their relationship was rocky, and Diddy's unfaithfulness left a lasting impact on her. But to make things worse, the speculation about her involvement in his alleged crimes has resurfaced old wounds. J-Lo might have moved on from her time with Diddy, but the shadow of their relationship continues to follow her, especially with these new accusations surfacing. J-Lo has been noticeably tight-lipped when it comes to addressing the allegations against her ex, Diddy. Most recently, during an autograph signing at AFI Fest 2024, a fan in the crowd asked if she had any comments about Diddy's alleged actions. Instead of responding, J-Lo immediately walked out, leaving fans shocked and disappointed. According to reports, she refused to engage, despite their pleas for her to stay.
Okay, guys, open it up. Guys, don't lean on the mat. Don't lean. She'll sign. Don't lean. She'll sign. Don't lean. You guys get out of control. She'll sign.
Do you have any comments about P. Diddy and the allegations?
Go back up. Look. Don't lean. Don't lean. She'll sign. Don't lean. You guys, she'll sign.
This isn't the first time J-Lo has chosen silence over addressing Diddy's controversies. Back in May, when footage surfaced of Diddy allegedly harming his ex-girlfriend Cassie Ventura, many of his other exes spoke out against him. But J-Lo, she stayed quiet. While sources close to her claimed that she was disgusted by the footage, she refused to comment publicly. According to insiders, J-Lo's decision to remain silent stems from her belief that this isn't her story to tell. Sources say she won't actively put herself into the conversation, and if an interviewer were to bring it up, she'd handle it as needed in the moment. However, her refusal to address it has left fans divided. Some respect her decision to stay out of it, while others think her silence speaks volumes. While J-Lo's silence on Diddy's scandals has stirred conversation, it's far from the only criticism she's faced. Her demanding nature as an employer has also been a major talking point, especially when it comes to the nannies she's hired to care for her and Mark Anthony's twins. Instead of hiring multiple nannies to manage the workload, as most high-profile parents do, J-Lo reportedly expected a single nanny to work 16-hour days, 7 days a week, taking care of both children without any help. It's no surprise that her first nanny quit after just a week on the job. Even the second nanny, who was described as wonderful with the twins, couldn't keep up with the grueling schedule. She, too, quit after a week. According to sources, the working conditions were simply unreasonable, leaving no room for rest or balance. For someone with J-Lo's resources, these demands seem excessive, and it sparked conversations about how she treats the people working for her. Many fans and critics alike have questioned why she didn't hire more help, especially given the challenges of raising twins. If you think the demands J-Lo placed on her nannies were tough, the stories about how she treats other people in her life take it to another level. From strict rules for her drivers to accusations of being a nightmare to work with, the Diva allegations just keep piling up. Let's start with her drivers. According to a viral TikTok, J-Lo's drivers must follow a set of strict rules that are so intense, many refuse to work with her altogether. One woman shared that her father, who worked for a company J-Lo often hired for transportation, flat out refused to drive her after hearing about her difficult temperament. The rules? They include not speaking to her, not looking at her, and, perhaps the most extreme, not even glancing at her through the rearview mirror. A single mistake could allegedly lead to the driver being scolded or worse, fired on the spot. And as if that wasn't enough, J-Lo has another peculiar rule. Her luggage cannot touch the ground.
So number one, when she has drivers, the number one rule she has for them is they can't look at her, they can't talk to her, and her luggage is never allowed to touch the ground. If any of those things happen, she will go out of her way to make sure you get fired.
Think about it. Handling luggage without letting it touch the ground, especially when you're constantly on the move, that's a nearly impossible standard. These strict demands paint a picture of someone who expects perfection and is quick to dismiss anyone who doesn't meet her exacting standards. But here's the kicker. It seems there's some truth to these stories, because one of J-Lo's former drivers, Jacob Manoyan, actually sued her. Jacob started working for J-Lo and Mark Anthony back in 2005. According to him, the three of them had such a great bond that J-Lo convinced him to shut down his company and work exclusively as her personal head of security and transportation. She reportedly agreed to pay him over $200,000 per year. However, things went downhill in 2011 when Jacob claims J-Lo's manager, Benny Medina, started causing problems. Jacob alleged that Benny didn't like him and eventually convinced J-Lo to demote him. He was stripped of his security responsibilities and made to work solely as her Los Angeles driver.
Jacob alleges that he was publicly berated by J-Lo's manager, Benny Medina, and Jenny didn't pay him his alleged salary.
Feeling disrespected and pushed out, Jacob says he was essentially forced to resign and later sued J-Lo and Benny for unspecified damages. J-Lo didn't take the lawsuit lightly. She countersued him for extortion. While her countersuit was dismissed in December 2012, the two eventually settled the case on undisclosed terms.
Former American Idol judge Jennifer Lopez has filed a $20 million lawsuit against her ex-chauffeur for extortion and defamation after he threatened to release damaging information about her.
Regardless of the legal outcome, this entire situation paints a pretty unpleasant picture. For someone who once had a close working relationship with J-Lo to claim they were mistreated and demoted, it only adds to the perception that working for her is more trouble than it's worth. The stories about J-Lo's tipping, or lack thereof, are another red flag. Over the years, several people have come forward on TikTok to claim that J-Lo is notoriously stingy when it comes to tipping, with some alleging she actively prevents her husband, Ben Affleck, from tipping as well. One now infamous story involves Ben giving a casino worker an extremely generous $10,000 tip after she served him all night. But here's where it gets messy. When J-Lo found out about the tip, she allegedly took the money back. The worker, understandably upset, was later compensated by Ben, who sent her a bouquet of flowers along with a $25,000 tip to make up for the situation.
Second story, she was with Ben, I believe at MGM or whichever casino, and Ben's a great tipper and he respects service workers, and so he tipped a lot of people a lot of money that night. Jennifer goes around to each of those people and takes back the tip and gives them maybe $5-10, maybe.
Other stories claim J-Lo has been overheard telling Ben not to tip at all, further fueling the perception that she's overly controlling and dismissive toward service workers. For someone as wealthy as J-Lo, these stories make her look out of touch and inconsiderate. J-Lo's alleged attitude toward her staff doesn't stop at drivers and waiters. It seems to extend to anyone she deems beneath her, including flight attendants. One flight attendant shared a story with Star magazine, describing how J-Lo refused to speak to him directly.
Is that J-Lo will not have any female flight attendants on her flights. They all have to be men. Why? Well, apparently Mark Anthony cheated on her with one of their female flight attendants.
When the attendant asked her what she'd like to drink, J-Lo reportedly turned her head away and told her personal assistant to respond instead. The flight attendant described it as a humiliating experience, saying it was sad to see someone who seemed so approachable in movies act so cold in real life. This kind of behavior highlights a pattern of J-Lo creating distance between herself and those outside her inner circle. And then there's the way she allegedly treats her backup singers. According to a story shared on TikTok, J-Lo is especially harsh toward women she perceives as competition. One backup singer who worked with her claimed J-Lo would avoid Latina women or women she thought were attractive, treating them coldly during rehearsals.
So here's a little story time of when I met one of J-Lo's backup singers at a Tony Robbins event nonetheless. And she gave me the inside scoop of what J-Lo is really like and what it's like to work with her. And to be honest, after that, I've never looked at J-Lo the same, unfortunately.
The singer alleged that J-Lo rarely spoke to her backup singers and would only acknowledge them with an occasional eye roll or scoff. Imagine working closely with someone every day only to be treated as if you don't exist. The former singer described it as an incredibly toxic work environment, with J-Lo's demeanor only shifting when men entered the room.
She was so mean to her backup singers, and if you were pretty or if you were a Latina, like game over. Like she straight up hated you.
For someone who has built a brand around empowerment and being relatable, these stories make her seem anything but. Perhaps one of the most shocking allegations involves an incident with a doorman at a concert venue. According to a witness, the doorman simply made the mistake of looking at J-Lo. Instead of addressing him directly, she allegedly began yelling at another staff member in the room. The situation escalated when the doorman made a comment about her behavior, reportedly saying, "So much for Jenny from the block." That was enough for J-Lo to demand he be fired. Imagine losing your job over something as minor as looking at someone. It's the kind of story that sticks with people and adds to the perception that J-Lo is difficult to work with. Just when you thought the stories about J-Lo couldn't get any worse, a resurfaced clip has fans calling her out for what many are describing as rude and nasty behavior. In the video, which recently started making rounds again on social media, J-Lo is seen walking the streets of New York City with what appears to be a co-star or friend, but it's her interaction with her assistant that left fans completely stunned.
But it was just always fascinating to me because I did get a moniker of being like a diva, which I never felt I deserved, which I don't deserve.
In the clip, J-Lo casually spits out her used gum directly into her assistant's hand, instead of asking for a napkin, looking for a trash can, or even just spitting it on the ground, which isn't ideal either, but arguably less humiliating for the assistant. She opts to use her assistant as a human trash bin. The assistant, seemingly accustomed to this type of behavior, rushed into the shot to catch the gum without hesitation, leaving viewers with their jaws on the floor. Many fans couldn't believe what they were seeing, calling the act outrageous and disrespectful. The backlash has been intense. Fans have been quick to point out that no matter how busy or hectic things may have been, whether she was in the middle of a shoot or not, there were countless other ways J-Lo could have handled the situation. Others argued that even spitting the gum onto the ground would have been better than demeaning her assistant in such a public way. While some attempted to defend J-Lo, claiming this kind of thing is common on movie sets, the majority of fans weren't buying it. The general consensus? This behavior is unacceptable, no matter the circumstances. This incident isn't just a one-off moment. It seems to align with other stories of J-Lo's alleged diva behavior. From the strict rules for her drivers to the unreasonable demands placed on her nannies, this clip adds to the growing perception that J-Lo has a habit of treating the people around her poorly.
I don't do this for you.
Muchas gracias. Muchas gracias.
You're living my life.
Bueno, lo que pasa es que estoy agradecido. Está mal estar agradecido, J-Lo.
Be grateful.
Gracias, J-Lo, te quiero.
For fans who followed her career and admired her work, seeing something like this is a tough pill to swallow. It's not just about spitting gum into someone's hand, it's about the lack of consideration and respect it represents. And for an artist who's built her image on being relatable and down to earth, moments like this feel like cracks in that carefully crafted persona. Y'all, with everything we've covered today, it's hard not to wonder, is Jennifer Lopez's alleged behavior proof of a diva who's lost touch with reality? Or is this just the price of fame? How much of these claims should we take seriously? And how much might be exaggerated by those looking for their moment in the spotlight? And most importantly, if even half of these stories are true, what does it say about how J-Lo treats the people who work closest to her? Let us know your thoughts in the comments down below, because we know y'all have opinions on this one. Don't forget to smash that like button, hit subscribe to stay in the loop on all the latest drama, and definitely check out the next video on your end screen. Trust me, you don't want to miss it.